Yesterday, the UK government announced plans to build a new generation of nuclear power plants that will generate 20% or more of the UK's future electricity needs, alongside renewable energy sources such as wind and tidal power. Overseeing the transition of business and the public sector to a low-carbon economy is the Carbon Trust, set up by the government in 2001.
2007 was a really amazing year in terms of a number of kind of key stakeholders started to play a much stronger role, particularly from the business community. And I think the kind of business community, be they large companies or small companies, have started to see the opportunity that creating a low-carbon economy can give them. And therefore, I think policymakers, in turn, then are more willing to go the extra mile to actually create a stronger framework to make it all happen. So it starts becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. And we expect that trend to continue in 2008.
In 2007 also, the report by Sir Nicholas Stern, the economist commissioned by the UK government to investigate climate change, became a blueprint for environmentalists supporting a low-carbon economy. Sir Nicholas appeared before a select committee of the House of Commons to report on what the UK and the rest of the world, both developing and developed nations, should do to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Stern concluded that at an economy-wide level, taking action now is much more cost-effective than waiting for the long term. But if you bring it down to an individual business and think about what an individual business can do, the first real opportunities business are identifying are around energy efficiency. So typically when we go into a business, we identify energy efficiency savings of roughly 20%, and that 20% goes straight to the bottom line. Secondly, businesses are increasingly conscious of the opportunities around developing new low-carbon technologies. So be that onshore wind, be that offshore wind, be that wave and tidal power, solar PV. But the third area, which has really just started to happen in the last year, is around businesses starting to think about low-carbon products and services. So that's thinking about existing consumer needs and how they can be met in a much lower carbon way than they have done in the past, because businesses are starting to wake up to the fact that consumers are demanding low carbon products and services, and to be competitive in the future, therefore businesses also need to compete on that dimension.
The idea that business could benefit from a shift to a low-carbon economy was taken up also in 2007 by the influential business lobby group, the Confederation of British Industry, which produced its own report on climate change, predicting an economic boom for companies flexible enough to take advantage of the new markets.
What we need to do is get investment at scale flowing into low-carbon technologies and low-carbon technology deployment. And that's where the policy framework is particularly important in making that happen. So think about drivers. On the one side, we have consumers starting to demand low-carbon products and services, but that's at a relatively early stage. And therefore, to drive business investment into this space, the policy framework is particularly important, particularly in the short to medium term. And if you look at the UK as an example, we probably have one of the strongest policy frameworks of any developing country. And therefore, some of the trends we are seeing in the UK about business being more proactive on this issue, we expect to see mirrored in other countries over time.
The Carbon Trust says British businesses could save as much as £1.4 billion in 2008 by using low or no-cost energy efficiency measures.